Good evening, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC here in a moment, but first the disclaimers and the trigger warnings. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are in the description box. We highly recommend Autistic Koya's massive archive on the subject, Neuroclastic's article, the one that got so deep under the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center's skin, they threatened Neuroclastic with a defamation lawsuit over, all because they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. Obviously, if they're interviewing other people in this field and the JRC wants to sue them over it, there's some things in there we probably need to know, so please read the article and share it. We have a link also to Neuroclastic's GoFundMe as well in case the JRC ever does see through with their threat, because unlike them, we don't have access to unlimited streams of money. Trigger warnings. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please utilize the headphones. Also, this channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity and speak on dark subjects. If your child 16 and younger and watching, parental supervision is advised. Alright, and also, we're dealing with the JRC's very own, very special level brand of word salad. Gaslighting, victim blaming, and shaming. So, every other word out of my mouth as we go through this together is probably going to be a curse word. So, just letting you know. Alright, the risk-benefit analysis according to FDA also entails examining the risks and benefits of alternative treatments, and the FDA falls short here as well. How? How are they falling short? Explain it to me like I'm 5. The FDA found, as did the rest of us who did our own independent research, that a good majority of the parents whose kids get shipped off to this place, at no point in time did anyone indicate to them that a full functional behavioral analysis should be done and have a good assessment done so that they can make better, more educated decisions in regards to their child's treatment program and school program. Okay? But those other methods fall short as well. Okay, Karen, where? Where are you picking up the slack of these other so-called programs? According to you, court documents no less, you once responded saying you didn't even know what positive reinforcement was, indicated that you still believe it's an untested theory, which it has actually been the main way of treatment in regards to neurodivergent folks for over the last 30 goddamn years. And you also indicated that you did not know how to utilize it meaningfully inside your own school. So, we have no full functional behavioral assessment being done. We have a school that likes to use similar sounding words so that the unconscious person reading might read something into it that isn't there, which is why they always say positive behavior supports as opposed to positive behavior reinforcement. It's that little sketchy ground where if we hammer you over that in regards to the court of law, they can use semantics to still run with it, even if it's deceptive as hell. Okay? As usual, it's probably going to be more word salad, but we'll go over it here. okay? The only rational conclusion is that any set of reasonable... Oh, wrong one. Let me read to the next part here. Okay. The risk is psychotropic medications. Oh, here the fuck we go again. Beware the big pharma boogeyman. Beware! It's like man, bear, pig on fucking steroids. Jesus Christ. And well-documented actual harm they cause to these patients is outlined above. Here we go again. Drooling, incontinence, sedation, triggers, headaches, intensified aggression, and gastrointestinal distress. First of all, the JRC here is actually being... Hear me out on this, folks. These folks are actually more misleading than Big Pharma in regards to what they're saying in regards to side effects. I need you to wrap your brain around that for me real quick. These people, none of them who have spent a single second in school going towards becoming a pharmacist or a scientist in any of that capacity, creating the medicines we know and love today, have not spent a single second in regards to any of those classes. That's number one. Number two, but they say this stuff on our medicine bottles. You know what they also print on those bottles? The percentile of how likely it is you're going to be suffering from said side effects. The real reality of medication, folks, goes like this. You're going to have a rare and very small number of individuals who are going to have extreme adverse reactions to different types of medications. For the large part, for the majority of us, whatever side effects come with that medication are usually far more mild. An annoyance, nothing more. And if you know what you're doing and you're speaking with your doctor, some of those side effects can be lessened, or in my case, no longer exist, if you have these conversations with your doctor beforehand instead of accepting medication from them as though it is God giving you the 10 Commandments and not answering or asking a single question. That is the reality here. You ever watch those commercials where they're advertising new pharmaceutical drugs? And they always read it through real fast. Could possibly cause death. However, if you read through it afterwards, again, very, very small amount of people tend to suffer the most adverse effects from said medications. The real truth is, although there's side effects to every medication you can take, more often than not, they are extremely mild and act at very worse as a mild irritant and nothing more. More often, you can kind of discount or at least address one of the side effects fairly easily. Okay? I'm going to give you the example I've already used on this channel. FYI, this is probably going to be a little bit of TMI here, too much information. So, if hearing about bowels grosses you out, you might want to pause or fast forward through this part. As you all know, because I've told you, I am taking my little pink miracle pill called Paxil. What Paxil does is it calms my anxiety down to a level where I can actually function. Okay? But you can do that through other means. Which ones? Because I've tried about all of them. Literally, just about all of them. Exercise, different herbs, ashwagandha, St. John's wort, weed. You name it, I've probably tried it. But it was well out of my control. So now I am on that Paxil medication. Now, just like any other medication, including those that the JRC is misrepresenting there, are on that bottle. In actuality, the side effects that I have had to deal with is constipation and exacerbating my existing acid reflux condition. Okay? Very mild stuff. It does not make me catatonic. It does not sedate me. It does not cause me headaches. It has, in fact, removed the tremors I was having when the anxiety would take over. Because I would be shaking and tremoring to a point where I couldn't hold anything. I couldn't type. Yeah. All that's gone now. Because the side effects were so mild, I'm a pretty intelligent person. So what I started doing was taking my Paxil along with my acid reflux medication at the same time in the morning. So essentially, that cut out the issues with the acid reflux. The constipation, which I did have, and for the first couple of weeks, that was a special level of hell I would never wish on anyone, not even my worst enemy. I had the conversation with my doctor, because I'm aware that my doctor is not omnipotent or psychic, and wouldn't just naturally know that I was going to have an issue in regards to that and taking that medication. She gave me a couple suggestions. The usual over-the-counter stool softeners did not work. Then it was suggested to get some organic chia seeds. I've been throwing them in my Greek yogurt every morning. That, my cottage cheese. Yes, I eat the same thing every morning. I'm autistic, sue me. And that has canceled out the constipation side effect. Okay? That is the real reality when it comes to medication. They try to scare you by throwing up all the worst potential side effects in regards to medications. They do so in such a way so that you will fear the medications more than you fear the torture device, which is just bizarre to me. I'm not saying major adverse reactions and side effects don't exist with these medications. What I'm telling you is that in the reality we all actually do live in, the side effects that tend to affect the most of people are usually mild at best. Okay? Paxil does not make me comatose. It does not have me in a sedated stupor. It does not cause me to drool. Okay? It actually helped with the tremors and the shakes that I would constantly have. It has even had a nice side effect of helping get my tachycardia under control, so I'm not as often having issues with keeping my heart slowed down at a normal rate. Okay? We gotta start looking at these things with reality here. They are fear-mongering. And their analysis when it comes to prescription medicine is literally nothing more than deliberate fear-mongering. If you actually take a look in regards to those who suffer the most adverse side effects, it is a very, very small portion. Very small portion of the population. And even for those who do. Again, I can't emphasize this enough. Talk to your doctors about your meds, people. If you're having difficulties, if there is a side effect that is happening that is scaring the hell out of you, call your doctor. Don't just keep taking medication that is causing you issues that would be landing you in an ER. Your doctor is not God. You are allowed to call them and say, hey, this medication is causing some major issues. I may end up in a hospital. Okay? You're not children. Talk to your doctor. They're not psychic. If a medicine is that badly affecting you, like with what they try to do with the fear-mongering here, for the love of God, you are an adult, act like one. For God's sake. Big Pharma is not going to be doing a major push on drugs that essentially turn you comatose. Because there's no money in it. You know what it is? Lawsuits. Lots of lawsuits. And it is because of the fact that I do know big pharma reps, CEOs, are corrupt, that I know they're not going to do anything that's going to land them in a courtroom. It's because they're greedy, because they want to protect their shareholders and themselves, that they're going to do due diligence in regards to any kind of medication out there. They're not going out there trying to turn everyone into a comatose zombie, because although they may already have F the world money, these are individuals so addicted to money that they are more willing to maybe push back a medicine or take something off a shelf than to spend millions of dollars settling court cases. Okay? It is literally because of their greed that I know they try at the least to cross every T and dot every I. Because they are corrupt, they're going to do everything they can to protect their own ass while using as little money to do so as humanly possible. The easiest way to do that is to not be pushing out drugs that sole purpose is to sedate people into comas. We gotta start talking about reality here. Is pharma corrupt? You bet your ass they are. Maybe one major mega corp that isn't. But they're gonna cover their own ass. Exactly because they are greedy and they are corrupt. They are not going to be wanting to handle hand tools off for other people to come in and destroy their wealth, their money, their company. Can we please start talking realistically here? Okay? Let me continue. There is also ample evidence that when ESDs are not a part of these patients' treatment plans, their SIB and AB persist. They continue to injure themselves and others, and they are frequently hospitalized or expelled from school and residential programs because those programs determine they cannot safely manage the dangerous behaviors. Here the fuck we go again. When they remove the device, the behaviors come back. The JRC thinks that means that they didn't fail, but the people who got them off of the device failed. On what planet is that considered a win? The goal of treatment is generally, I want you to have help with the not so fun part of your diagnoses, so that you are able to coexist and contribute with the folks that are in your own communities. Alright? It's the whole point of it. So, if the only way you know how to get behavioral changes is through means of threat and violence, that means, in all actuality, you're not doing what you're saying you are at all. If all I have to do to stop the progress of these kids that you're writing about here by removing the device, that means, JRC, that you failed. Not the people trying to put them in appropriate services with individuals who are sane. Not the individuals who've reportedly asked you again and again and again why you do not utilize the proper, accepted, full functional behavioral assessment before you accept any kid into that school. You still never answered that question. I'll probably die before that question ever gets answered. Be senile asking it. Hey, did the JRC ever start with the full functional behavioral assessment yet? Grandma, you're drooling. But, sorry. You see my point, right? If all I have to do to stop those so-called positive changes is simply remove the device, then they were never real changes in the first place. And the reason they came back after you removed the device, JRC, is because you cannot treat the behavior without treating what's fucking causing it. It's like using a band-aid on a wound that requires stitches. Okay? They come back, JRC, because the triggers that were causing the behaviors in the first place are still there. And they've gone undealt with. If you ignore the root cause, how the hell do you expect the behavior that comes from that root cause to actually become manageable when all you do is just shock people for the behavior? I mean, come on here. How are you not getting it, JRC? How are you still not getting it? If All these skills go the way of the dodo once the device is removed. That means your device is a failure. The other place didn't fail. You did. Because you continue to refuse to treat the triggers that are causing the behaviors. That is why they come back after you remove the threat that is the GED device off of them. That is not the failure of the people who want them off of that device. It is your failure, JRC. It's your failure. If all these skills, again, go the way of the dodo, if you just take the device off of them, it means your device does not work. It really is that simple. And as far as trying to call what literally everyone else uses and say that that could never work for these kids, where it is literally working for millions of us all across the globe. Again, JRC, the gaslighting doesn't work here. The math isn't mathing. That is a math that isn't mathing so hard a neurotypical kid could be able to pick it up. Okay? If you don't deal with the root cause, then the behaviors are just going to continue to persist. It cannot be dealt with through means of corporal punishment, because corporal punishment is punishing a symptom. It does nothing in regards to what's causing the symptoms. It's not hard to think about, is it, folks? We're going to go ahead and close on that. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please, folks, don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.